and welcome to everybody's favorite mutant game show, X Password. And I'm your host, Warren Worthington. You might know me as Angel. All right, today's guests, we have the one and only Jean Grey. Hi. And we also have her clone, that's right, Madeline Pryor.
Burn.
All right, so you guys ready to start? Who's going to be the first one to give?
I will give. I will go.
All right, let's show the audience the password. The password is Cyclops.
Oh my, you've got to be kidding me. Really, Cyclops?
I'm sorry, Madeline, you just said the password. That is against the rules.
I don't care.
Okay, well, how about Jean Grey gives this time? I love giving. I'm a giving person. All right, thank you. The password is Phoenix. Oh, this is easy. Oh my God, this is so easy. This is the thing I am.
Me.
No, but the thing that I became.
Me.
No. You became. First of all, you became me. No, the thing that I became after the plane crash. Remember the plane crash?
A bitch.
Yeah. Oh, I became a bitch. No. Do you remember the plane crash? Not your plane crash.
Yes.
Because that was fake.
There have been some. Which one? Scott's?
No, not the Scott's. Not the one that your first memory
Which
was
one?
after a plane crash.
Yes.
Not that one. My plane
Okay.
crash. I crashed a plane and I became the.
Supreme.
No, this is an American Horror Story, you fucking bitch. Jesus Christ. It's also, it's a city in Arizona.
Oh, Tucson.
God damn it. No, come on. It's the thing I am. The thing that you think that I am.
Me.
No. God damn it.
I hate this.
What is the one thing you wish you had that I have?
Well, that's tough. I mean, I have so many things that are better and tighter. The Phoenix.
Oh, yay! Oh, yes, that's right. But unfortunately, you guys went over time, so both of you are disqualified.
Burn.
Fuck? Do you want to fucking blow this shit up?
Yes.
All right.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 278 of Comic Book Queers, Legacy. I am your host, Brett, and with us for this next hour, let's say, is EvilJeff. Hi. There was a lot of Jean Grey and Madeline Pryor in last week's X-Men books, and we're going to talk about a bevy of them.
Yeah.
A bevy. But first... Another Ginger. How are you?
I'm good. Are there any hot topics coming out?
We do have Ms. Marvel 2. I'm sorry. We do have The Marvels coming out.
I have heard that they're spoiling the post-credit scene in order to get more ticket sales, but I have not spoiled myself yet, so I don't know what it is.
Neither have I. I was actually thinking of looking it up so that we would have a hot topic.
But I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I want to be surprised.
Yes.
Like I knew that Harry Styles was coming as Star Fox, and I really would have liked to have been surprised by that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm wondering if it's a mutant thing, but I guess that's the people who are looking it up knowing.
Oh my God, if it's a mutant thing, then I definitely don't want to know.
But we don't know.
Do you think it's Rogue?
I don't know, sugar. Who knows? It's always been so far. It's always been disappointing.
Oh my God! Do you think it's Rogue? I will blow the place up. A Phoenix Raptor will form around me, and I will blow the theater up. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm too powerful.
Yeah, I know, but it's never been that good. But I do feel that because she's a mutant, like that maybe it's time to like pay a little bit of that off.
Yeah, I think so. Because I'm getting bored with the Kang stuff, and we'll talk about Loki in addition to Gen V later.
The other, I think just in general, I think I think we're in just like a post boring world. Like it's like
In general, like all of our favorite things.
I feel like all of our favorite things have like jumped. Oh shit! Sorry, I just dropped my microphone.
Oh God, are you okay?
An ambulance was going by.
Did you get it?
Well, I realized Yes, I got it. I realized the window was opened and there was an ambulance going by, and so I tried to close the window and then I dropped the microphone and made it worse. All right, listen, bitches. No, I feel like everything is just
everything is in. Yeah,
it's everything. Feel like everything's jumped the shark. I think
everything has got dipped in quality,
and not. I think it's also just because I feel like it was like, let's create the Marvel universe. Let's create all this new stuff. And now it's been created. And now it's just like, everything's is just oversaturated.
And it was so rushed.
Yeah. And I feel like no one's doing anything fun and exciting. And I do also feel that it's kind of like Krakoa was fun and exciting. And I feel like in a weird way, Fall of X is a fall.
It really is a fall. The overall quality, I think, of the books across the board, it's just dipped. I mean, we were spoiled with Krakoa. You know what? It feels like we're getting right into the X-Men books, right?
Yeah. Why don't we hit the music?
Let's hit that music.
I was reading X-Men comics in a cocktail bar. That much is true. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, 7X books came out.
We're talking.
They just shat them out.
They shat them out. This is like so much Tyler Perry. Uncanny Avengers #3, Dark X-Men #3, Uncanny Spider-Man #2, Realm of X #3, Jean Grey #3, Ms. Marvel the New Mutant #3, and Alpha Flight #3. And with all of those books, this to me, I didn't eat. I did not eat this week. My stomach feels empty. I'm not full.
Do you feel it is solely because of the only thing that's sustaining us is Emma Frost and Kitty Pryde?
It's kind of like the only thing sustaining us is Emma Frost. So
I'm liking Kitty Pryde too, but I feel like it's not enough of her.
No, neither do I. It's not enough. I like, instead of going through, we typically walk through each individual issue and summarize it and talk about our thoughts and feelings. Like, I think let's not do that because there's 7 books. Like, overall, this week, and maybe even in general, EvilJeff, like, what's working and what's not working,
I think,
about where we are in the X books.
I think let's start with what isn't working. Let's go over, how about we get to Realm of X?
Realm of X is not working.
It's a book, useless. It's not.
It's a book that I'm like skipping through.
There's no point to it. The only thing interesting is Curse and Magic.
Curse.
I would rather this just have been Curse, Magic, Saturnin, and give it some sort of stakes into the outside world. Everything else, like, they tried to have a big moment where, like, one of the guy that was flirting with Typhoid Mary died.
Yeah.
And the way it was drawn, I was not sure how he died.
Yeah.
You didn't see who really killed him. It just wasn't. It was just like a weird. Oh, I guess it was just an arrow shot him. Anyway, it was like, I don't care. And then it was like, oh, Saturnine stole a piece of dust sand. It's just nothing. I just don't care.
Saturnine doesn't feel like Saturnine in this book to me.
Yeah.
It's not the same, like, great Teenie Howard Saturnine. The magic stuff was weird. I guess it's paying off. Like, she's gonna tap into
just like,
some Belasco stuff.
They're like, well, one of the prophecies, there is like a hidden powered one that's gonna save us all in the end. I'm like,
yeah, so
wonder
overt.
who the fuck that is gonna be.
Right.
I guess that's magic then. I don't know.
Yeah, overall, it's just not like, I do not care about anything going on with Mirage and Dust and all of them. Curse is the only interesting thing. They leave it on a cliffhanger that Curse kind of cursed Saturnine a little bit, not a little bit, a lot.
Yeah.
We'll see what happened there. That could be interesting. But yeah, overall, I mean, part of like what's not working for me is like these books that feel so tangential, and like these books that feel like they have nothing to do with the horrible cataclysmic event that just happened.
Yeah. And I will say that if you don't want it to have
gala.
anything to do with that, then it needs to be something fucking amazing. Because that's the thing, is like, I know this isn't Asgard, but the Asgardian Wars, those side books from, was that the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah.
that didn't have anything to do with the actual X-Men timeline, but they were just beautifully drawn. They were well written, and in
It
the
dove
end,
into each character.
but in the end, it did have Rain fell in love with another wolf, and that fucked her up. Mirage became a Valkyrie, and so there was like a big. There were things that ended up crossing over and creating interesting things with their characters, but there's like nothing. I feel like it's just like they're gonna be there. The only thing that's gonna change is Curse is gonna be more probably brought into the world of the X-Men a bit more, and Magic will get her powers back.
Yeah.
And this whole dust is missing some of her dust. I don't know. I can't imagine that being anything interesting.
No. Yeah, I just don't care. I'm just kind of like slogging through it. Curse, I can also see dying at the end of this.
True. But she's already died once. So.
Which would feel like a waste. Yeah. But like overall, I just think like these stories that are not strong enough to steal focus from the tragedy at Krakoa.
Which one? But some I feel do better. Some I feel do better.
Yeah. I think, Children of the Vault is one that I think is doing slightly okay better.
Oh no, I feel that's garbage.
Okay, fair.
I don't like that one. At all.
I'm not saying it's top tier. I'm like inching up.
Well, top tier is X-Men Red, Immortal.
Oh,
X-Men.
for sure. Yeah.
Honestly, and then you kind of get a little bit every X-Force and Wolverine. It depends on the run. It depends on the run whether I'm interested in those or not.
Yeah.
But even like I'm actually still invested in Uncanny Spider-Man. I like that still.
Yeah, it's quirky and cool, and I actually really like the Spider-Man X-Men mashing up that's happening. Like, I like seeing Nightcrawler fucking around with Silver Sable and fucking around with Rhino. It's working. I like it, and this book is funny.
And Cloak and Dagger showed up. What are Cloak and Dagger? Oh, they just talked about Cloak. Are they not mutants anymore?
I guess not, which was not something I really ever appreciated. I love how she said we've been mutant adjacent.
But they were part of the Dark X-Men. They were considered mutants for a time. Like I think initially it was like that drug that was given to them brought out their latent mutant abilities, but no, it just gave them abilities. Right.
But we love to see Dagger. We love to see her on the side, on Kurt's side. I love the relationship with Silver Sable. Silver Sable, totally horny. Kurt.
Yeah, they've already made out. We've had two. There is this week. There's been two makeouts.
There's been Silver Sable and Nightcrawler.
Yes.
And who was the other?
Speedster, Pietro, and Monet.
Pietro and M. Okay, let's play what's working, what's not working. Pietro and M. Is that working or is that not working?
I think it could work, but I felt it was literally zero buildup. It went from 0 to 100.
It just out of nowhere, right?
I think
when M moved or like touched his hand and he was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh."
I think it's like maybe have that moment a couple of issues ago. Have something, you know what I mean? I just went
or have
from
them
0 to
hate
60.
each other for longer.
Yeah, and have them because I do love the fact that both of them are obnoxious. I think that makes them an interesting couple.
Absolutely.
So I'm all for them being a couple, but it just felt like very ham-fisted.
Speaking of ham-fisted, overall, I think Uncanny Avengers for me is not working. And
I mean, here's the other thing.
The cheesy Captain America monologue.
Exactly. That is exactly what
brutal.
I was saying. Him, and then when he's like, and for, the people that are different or the people that love somebody different. And then it cuts to some like guy with gay face. I was like, what?
Right. But also like these old politics of can't we all just get along?
Yeah, that
of
doesn't
like,
work anymore.
Can we just compromise with fascists and bigots? Like, like they're
we live in a different world. Yeah, and that's the right. And also, it's also this world where I think Captain America represents a world. And it was also just weird where Captain America's like, we all need to get along. When it's like, no, you lived in a world where like it was the bad guys versus the good guys, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. But he's like, the American people are never the bad guys. Well, I got news for you.
Yeah,
Cap.
I hate to break it to you.
Like
I mean,
a third of them are,
especially now with like the way things are just so dicey with all the wars happening now, like people are scared to talk about it. Or if you do talk about it, you're like, oh, wait, nobody is on the same side. Everybody thinks one side is evil when it's pretty much everybody is evil. And I'm just like, but it's
so.
And
horrific.
suddenly I'm reading these comic books being like, oh, all of these comic books stem on someone being,
like,
ha 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 ha, I'm a villain. And then, oh, I will sacrifice anything for good. And then it's like, oh, that isn't real. And so when we live in a comic book world, you have to like engage in that fantasy. So when you have Captain America trying to be like, hey, America, you're like, all right, don't try to compare this to the real world because it's not going to work.
It's not. It's really not. And also, like that old lady who threw her malt.
And then changed her mind. No boomer is changing her mind.
And then all of a sudden he's like, thank you for apologizing. Like, this is not how we treat fascists. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's just very, everybody wants to like wrap it up in an easy wrapper. And it's like, you're covering way too complicated of a topic. Like you're literally covering
so folksy.
You're covering a topic where the whole world wants to genocide all mutants and kill every mutant.
Right.
And the fact that
it's okay, Bernice.
And the fact that there's like a war going on where two sides are trying to genocide each other. Maybe, I don't know.
Genociding.
Or currently genociding. Like, yes, how about, I don't know. Maybe I don't need to hear what fucking Captain America has to say about it.
Right. And like maybe Captain America should be like, you know what? You're fucked up, everybody.
Yeah. Fuck America.
But it's so just soft and aw shucks and yeah.
But that being said, I liked the fight scene of when M and Pietro, why can't Quicksilver?
With Fenris. Yeah.
When they go and battle Fenris and then poor M though, where she's like, oh, they have psychic defenses. We need to get Psylocke. I'm like, oh, your psychic powers suck.
Pathetic. Pathetic. I mean, anyone could, like Storm could have pulled that off. Yeah. I'm like, Uncanny Avengers, it's not matching the tone of Krakoa. It's just, it's such a right turn.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. So that's not really working for me. Jean Grey, I mean, fine.
I think this is fun. I do like
fun.
this.
I mean, it's fun. It's fun. Yes.
But I love how she's like, well, what if I save the baby? So, and then Mount probably never even got to Nathan. And then it was like, no, she would just actually then steal the Phoenix Force and then just completely.
And the TO virus and a lot of things. And then just destroy all of New York.
Yeah, and destroy the world. And she's like, all right, well, this isn't working. But in Jean Grey, it was finally referencing from Immortal.
Which that's working.
Was that Immortal or X-Men?
It was Immortal.
Yeah. Where then it's like, hey, you're here. All right, so I want to talk about what is the deal? What's the deal with Jean Grey in the White Hot Room? Like, what is the deal with that? How does she just always come back alive? Like, is she?
Yeah, it's like when Jean dies, that's where she winds up.
So when she dies, she ends up in the White Hot Room. So if she dies, you can always go to the White Hot Room and go be like, hey, let's go get you.
I guess.
Because isn't that how she came back the last time?
Yeah, when she in that like Phoenix Resurrection series.
Well, that led to the first X-Men Red. That was just like she was just in the White Hot Room.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense now, I guess, that Phoenix's she's just home. Like, but so then it's like she's just back in the White Hot Room again. So I do think it's strange where then it was like, I guess it's interesting that she's also died and been resurrected. So here's a question for you. When she did that mission in the first issue of House of X, she died and was resurrected. Technically, when she died, didn't she also go into the White Hot Room?
I have no idea.
So wouldn't there be two Jean Greys?
I don't know.
I think what might be interesting is what I would have loved, this would have been, they're not doing this, is if in the White Hot Room, it wasn't the current Jean Grey, it was the Jean Grey that died in the spaceship in that mission in House of X.
Oh, God. And she's like, what happened?
The last thing I know, we were on a mission to Orcus by the sun, and then I was killed by...
Are miniskirts still in?
I don't know. I
yeah.
wish there was some more explanation of like what
Yeah.
that's about.
The first, like, I remember in Morrison's run, the White Hot Room was, remember at the end when Quentin Quire was it? Like there was tons of phoenixes, like the Green Lantern Corps. There was like the Phoenix Corps, and Quentin was one. Like that was,
and now it's just Jean
home
Grey.
of like all the phoenixes.
It's just Jean Grey.
Well, the Phoenix is just Jean Grey. I mean, right?
Well, I think all this ends where she's going to be Phoenix.
She's definitely going to be Phoenix.
But that means what's going on with Echo?
Fuck Echo. Echo was cool before she was Phoenix.
I know, but I'm interested of like, how is that going to, like, is there going to be a confrontation or
Oof, I don't know.
another Avengers versus X-Men?
I think the Phoenix is going to be like, Echo, I'm sorry, my boo is back. She wants me back.
It's like, I just have a thing for gingers.
I have a thing for fire crotches. I don't know about Ms. Marvel.
Ms. Marvel, here's my thing. I actually don't mind it. There is just a few holes in the Swiss cheese of the plot. There's just a lot of bending of like
convenient. It's very convenient.
Or even where they're
plotting.
like the fact that they're just like, we've been able to attach a thing and go into her brain and we can figure out who she is. We also but she is actually a student staying there and they still don't know who Ms. Marvel is.
Right. Yeah.
They are the most
convenient.
highest tech people in the entire world, and they can't figure out which student. How many Pakistani American
Well, they have that
girls are there?
They have that face recognition. Who knows?
Face recognition, which a mask, even my fucking iPhone can recognize me with a mask on.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. It's just things like that where I'm just like, guess I'm just going to ignore that plot hole.
I think for me, we're still not really solving what's eating at Kamala. You know, we're not like we're still stuck on like, where do I belong? And like all this stuff with like the Silver Surfer guy, Doctor Strange guy, and
who cares about that?
Or it's like an abstraction of her mutant power. Like, could we just get into?
Let's get on with it. What is her mutant power? How about we just do
like,
that?
What is your mutant power? Like, enough of like living inside of her worry. Like, let's do bet. Let's move the character along.
Yeah, there's other, like, you don't have to drag out an emotional journey.
You don't.
You can also have twists and turns and revelations and still have the emotional journey.
You can. So I think her mutant power will probably come out in this issue, though, right?
It better. If it doesn't, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck did this read this for?
Like, if they're getting blasted by a sentinel at the end, I would have to think her mutant power is gonna be the thing that saves them from the sentinel.
I like that you were about to say her mutant flower.
Her mutant flower. Oh my goodness! I think Bruno's gonna mutant deflower her. These two.
Yeah. You know what is working for me? Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight's working. Were you excited by this reveal?
Was I not?
Did you call it?
Did I not call it in a previous episode?
You called it.
I fucking called it. I was like, because I was like, do we know who it is? And I was like, it could be Heather then. Because where is Heather? We was like, where's Heather?
It's Heather Hudson.
Well, not for long.
Not for long.
She looks like she's about to.
She did.
Is she dead or she's still dying? I don't think she's fully dead yet.
Who knows?
But they're all coming after
Guardian
her.
or Vindicator, whatever his name is. He's like, oh my God, it's my wife.
But here's the thing. Okay, so in Canada, basically Department H in Canada is like fully aligned with Orcus, and we've got Canadian Val Cooper, who I forget what her name is.
I forget her name is too, but oh my God. Okay, honey, we get it. You work out.
You're evil, yeah. And we have Box's son with his little box robots. So it's kind of like the box robots are one battalion. And then we have Alpha Flight, which is Guardian, Snowbird, and Shaman. And Puck are another battalion. But they're secretly part of the X-Men Alpha Flight, which includes Aurora and North Star and
Dakin.
and Dakin, and isn't there another one?
Yeah.
Who's
It's Nemesis.
and Nemesis, right? And so here's the thing: is I was just like, how are you going to pretend that you're incompetent this long? And pretending that you're like not on the other people's side. And so it ends with them being like, oh, we can beat the box robots. We'll fly out and get to Nemesis first. But I'm just like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to act like you lost again? She's not going to buy that. I also feel like but that's also why I like this, is because Canadian Val is like, you guys suck. Like, you're bad, so you're fired. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of like.
Well, I think part of like knowing they can't keep up this ruse is what makes this book work.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying is like, I'm like, hey, this isn't working. And then Canadian Val is like, something's fishy here. And I'm like, oh, okay. People like the characters aren't acting stupid.
They're acting like people.
They're not acting stupid to let the plot go forward. Like, it's like real things are happening. So I like that. I also like how they're just like, hey, we have these Canadian mutants and you all just stay here in this room and you're not allowed to leave. And it's like, I don't know, this feels like a prison. So maybe I don't want to do this. And then it's like, okay, well, I think maybe we have. And then North Star's husband is like, hey, I'm not a mutant. I can't like stop these mutants from leaving. So they might leave. I kind of love this the blue-haired, like the icy blue-haired
Argent.
character.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah.
I know they're going to become a
Do
superhero.
something.
They're not gonna they're something's gonna happen where they're gonna change their mind and become powerful and fun.
Hopefully this leads to a new Alpha Flight book I'd read.
Love it. Love it.
My only wish for this book is more North Star.
Yeah.
There's not enough North Star in this
And
book.
North Star's husband needs to be murdered. But I've been saying that for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of the thing that makes me lament for Krakoa and like just really just pine for it again and realize what a good thing we had is that a lot of these stories just feel so divorced from that era. Like it just doesn't feel the same anymore. And one of those books that really, really creates that feeling for me is Dark X-Men.
Yeah. Well, Dark X-Men, I just feel like they don't really know what they want it to be yet.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
get
is it about Madeline?
Is it about the new character, the girl shapeshifter
Faint?
character?
There's a lot of cool Faint stuff happening, aka formerly Gimmick.
And then it's like, we took Angel and then we made him evil. Gambit just blew him up and now he's dead. I'm like, oh, he's dead.
Okay, so that's
over? Like,
do we
he's
have
just
resurrection
dead?
anymore?
Like, I don't know. I was just like, what?
Right.
And this mushroom girl, I couldn't give two shits about. I was trying to read up on her, like when she was because apparently they're like,
she's from the Storm solo series from 2014.
Okay, yeah,
yeah, right.
I don't remember that.
Girl, I can't remember that.
But I'm still just not getting like, what is Madeline's deal? I don't know what Madeline's deal is because you go and read Jean Grey.
What is her motivation?
And I know that's like an image inside Jean Grey's head of Madeline, but that was just like, I fucking hate you, Jean Grey. You're a stupid little bitch. And you're taking my life. And even when they were battling in the Spider-Man crossover, when it was like Inferno again, Madeline was like, I fucking hate you, Jean Grey, blah, blah, blah. And now Madeline is doing her own thing, but I'm still like, okay, but what's your deal? Are you bad? Are you good? What? Yeah. I don't know what her deal is. And so I don't know what to root for.
Right. I really don't know where she's coming from.
And I don't know with this other evil Madeline, this like otherworldly limbo Madeline Pryor and the monster Nightcrawler. I don't get what that's about.
They're kind of downplaying that. If they keep introducing new villains, so they reveal at the end of this issue that they're going to call up Ben Reilly
from that Inferno. Yeah, from
Dark Web.
From Dark Web.
And now he's going to go up against her. And then...
But I'm just like, you still haven't gotten to what this is about. Stop introducing new characters.
What is this book about? What is this book about?
I don't know.
Yeah. I do like Madeline being faced with her own hallucinations and fears and
not giving a shit.
It's not giving a shit. Like, it's stuff that we've gone over so many times.
Yeah. That was good. That was really good. Fun. I also just to bring up, this is also just going back to something I wanted to talk about with Uncanny Avengers. there's so many mutants out in the open, and then they're like, "Hey, everybody, here's these mutants." I was like,
For every mutant, we're going to kill 10
every
humans.
mutant, we're going to kill 10 humans. Where? Huh? So did Captain America? Did you just kill like 10? You just killed 10. You just killed 40 humans. Like I just don't. I don't get it.
You can also say it was an empty threat.
I know, but then why make that threat? Why write that in there to begin with?
I know.
Like either make it something or make it not be something.
Right. Well, it was dramatic in the moment.
Ugh. All right. Is there another book that we didn't cover with this?
No, that was pretty
all
much
of them.
That was pretty much all the books.
Yeah, basically, I think it's also okay, but also we have to remember 2 of the greatest runs in Uncanny X-Men was Outback, and then when Jim Lee came over and it became X-Men Uncanny X-Men, but there was a good maybe 20 issues where it was
filler,
where it was bad.
Yeah.
Like after the X-Men all went through the Siege Perilous, and then it was kind of like, it was like 20 issues of just like filler garbage stories. So this is a transition. Fall of X is a transition.
This is a transitional period for sure. I'm concerned about where we're headed.
Yes.
I don't like the vibe of the new editor of the X books of Tom Brevoort. He's been with Marvel forever, which I don't like. And I just don't think he's going to bring that kind of radical energy that X-Men had for a while. That was so cool.
Well,
I think it's going to be the opposite. Yeah. I think it's going to be more like Uncanny Avengers moving forward.
Well, starting next week, we're going to have a very big comparison of what we're thinking of it. Because starting next week, the Ultimate Universe starts being displayed. The Ultimate Universe #1 comes out next week.
What does that have to do with?
So we're talking about, we don't like where the X world is being set up. Hickman is now starting over from scratch.
Yes.
Hickman is starting over from scratch, creating a whole new Marvel universe. That sounds very exciting to me.
And did you see who the new Ultimate Spider-Man is?
Who? Is it an established character? I thought it would be someone brand new. Who is it?
It's an established character.
Who?
It's Peter Parker married with kids.
Oh, so
it's Peter Parker and MJ as like a family.
Oh, so the new Ultimate Spider-Man, is it Peter Parker or is it one of the kids?
It's Peter Parker.
Because next week is also Spider-Boy is being released.
And I haven't been following that.
And I
all.
haven't been
no
following
who that is.
What was that? The web? What was that crossover a bit called?
The Dark Web?
Was it Dark Web?
The one with Madeline?
No, there was another one. There was another spider ongoing thing where all of these new characters were introduced, and that's where Spider-Boy was introduced.
Oh, like another Spider-Verse thing?
I'm gonna look it up really quick. It's Spider-Boy spinning out of the end of the Spider-Verse. Spider-Boy's secret history as Spider-Man's sidekick was nearly forgotten forever, but now those mysteries will be revealed while they embark on exciting new adventures together. Huh? So is the end of the...
We got to learn more.
The end of the Spider-Verse, is that a comic thing or is that... I don't know.
That was a crossover.
Okay. So that seems interesting too.
Okay. I always thought that years and years and years ago, I thought Miles Morales should come into 616 and he should be Spider-Boy.
Yeah.
But I do like that he's Spider-Man. It's much better.
But I'm very interested in seeing what this new Ultimate world is going to be, because you can start from scratch. And that's the things that I think we have the problem with, which will be interesting what Hickman decides to do, is we can, in this new awful world that we live, universe that we, in the real life that we live in, we can start getting rid of this golden age of America's the hero. Yes. And everyone's good. And then those people are bad. I want to see how do you write a comic book in this world where everybody's kind of awful? And everything's falling apart. And it's also the idea of what does it mean to be a superhero and going and fighting the streets when you're not actually helping end global warming? You know what I mean? Like, it seems weird if you'd have a new character called Storm and she's like, I'm here in New York, Westchester, to stop some bad guys, some muggers. And you're like, yeah, could you make it rain in California, please? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Right.
I'm interested to see like what he's going to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, we have that now. We have billionaires who could end world hunger and just don't.
Lovely.
Lovely. All right. That was a tangent. Speaking of good and evil kind of being like, you know, a little bit gray, we've got Loki and we've got Gen V to talk about.
I always feel like I'm watching a comic movie or TV.
First of all, I'm just digging it.
I love it because you know why? They're doing X-Men better than any X-Men ever did X-Men.
Yeah,
like
it's
TV
really
and movie.
fun. And the relationships are so seamlessly put together with the action and the plot.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Tense moments that are character-driven moments like Kate are at first I thought she was just kind of like a pusher, you know, but
No,
Kate
she's a telepath.
She's turning out to be a very powerful telepath and like is actually having trouble keeping thoughts out of her head, the thoughts of others out of her head. But she decides to do something about the corruption at the school. And she kind of kidnaps the principal lady, the teacher, or the whoever, the headmistress.
And this is where I feel the writing of this was really good, is the principal basically convinces her, like, I love you. Let's just us get away. I'm just going to kill everybody, but I'll save you and we'll
not
run
you.
away. And she looks at her and she's like, I can tell you're telling the truth. And she starts crying and she hugs her and you're like, fuck, she's going to betray them all again.
Yeah, but no.
No, she shows up and she's like, yeah. And she's like, but I love you. She's like, yeah, I know you love me, but you're going to fucking genocide everybody. So no.
Right. So no. Yeah. So that Shetty is her name. Dean Shetty, let's call her. She is developing a virus that is going to kill all soups, you know, like an airborne virus. And so Kate decides to stop her. She actually forces her telepathically to slit her own throat in front of the other kids.
I know.
She's very Jean Grey.
Yeah.
This Kate. She reminds me of Jean Grey. I'm too powerful. Ow, it hurts. And I'm going to do something crazy.
Yeah. It is the girl can't control it.
The girl can't help it.
But here also Sam, he can't control his powers either, it seems like. So
Sam is like a Hulk, but he should have been in seclusion in Emma's room, but instead he wound up partying with other college students and started to get a taste of normal life. Emma is like, you're not okay. Yeah, you can't do normal life because you're not normal. So please hide. And he's getting a little frustrated to the point where he is responding to Kate's darker impulses. He's like, yeah, me too.
Well, also he ends up going to like a pro, like what's the girl? What's the vice president nominee?
The senator?
The senator. What's her
Newman?
name? Newman, who's the head exploder, which we'll get to that in a second.
We sure will.
She's the fucking head exploder, and they kind of go to this route from the boys. They go to a rally, and that's where he gets the thing of like, oh, they're trying to they're trying to control us. They're trying to control the soups, and it's like, no, I've been subjected to that.
They sure were.
And so he's like, no, I don't agree with any of that shit. So that I think helped when Shetty was killed. He's like, no, this is justice, because he's like kind of being like, yeah, no, it's power to the soups. However, before Shetty died, when they're like, why are you doing this? And she's like, Homelander. And then you kind of turn around and you're like, but Homelander, because this is the first time they're talking about at the end of season 3, Homelander just fucking murders a human,
someone on camera
at the rally, on
someone
camera.
Who was a Starlight fan.
And Newman even talks about like, oh, we should have a trial. And they're like, why? But we're not your peers. It was like, and it's like a thing. You're like, no, he definitely has to. But how do you put him in jail for that?
And so Shetty, this whole time, wants revenge against Soups, specifically Homelander, because in the season 1 moment where Homelander took the plane down with all the innocent passengers in it, her husband and daughter were on that plane.
And here's the thing, though, that I want from, if you remember from The Boys, Newman was always like very pro-human, didn't like the power of the Seven and what the
She kind of
Soups and what
also
Vought
wants
was doing.
to control Soups. Yeah.
But however, then was later found out she's a head exploder. She is a Soup, and her daughter is like being raised by like the head of Vought and all of that stuff. And so she was like adopted by Vought. And so so I have a feeling she also wants to take that down. But do you think she ends up stealing the virus?
The virus.
Is she going to, do you think she wants to release it and get rid of all Soups too?
I mean, it's definitely a nice card to be holding. It's power.
But here's the part where I'm like, oh, this show's awesome. That head exploding power, how she does it? She controls what?
Blood.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
She has the same powers as Marie.
So now you're suddenly like, oh, Marie can just fucking head pop everybody whenever the fuck she wants. Not only that, she could see the blood. She could see the compound V in the blood.
She could feel it in Newman's blood. So she's like, oh my God, you're a Soup, because Newman doesn't tell anyone she's a Soup. Yeah, that was really cool. And it was really cool to use Newman and kind of reframe her as like a dark, twisted version of our main character, of our protagonist, in that they share the same superpower. But use it very differently.
But she's left with this fucked up thing of just like, she's like, I have to go and tell everybody. Like Marie's like, I need to go and tell everybody. We have to expose this. But she's like, why would you expose this when you literally in a couple years could be on the Seven and you'll have all the power to do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And I am kind of like, I don't know. That's a real good point. Like, are you going to make any change as a dumb little, cause she also,
what are you going to do? If
they wanted at any time, they can just shove her back into that adult insane, like mutant Soup insane asylum.
Yeah. Yep. Have we ever gone there? Like they keep bringing that up, or they brought it up for a reason.
Where was where the dick monster, remember when they go to where the guy with the dick powers in that prison area?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that? Yeah. I think that's what that is. I also now I'm just like really wanting season 4 of The Boys.
I know.
But it's all delayed.
It's all delayed
because the goddamn strike.
The other cool thing was when Shetty got in touch with what's her name, who's like the manager of The Boys.
Oh yeah,
it's like her organization, and had that extended scene about like, hey, we want the same thing, and she's like, no, I don't want to genocide them.
I know, yeah.
That was pretty cool, and she like brought up Billy and like talked about Billy the Butcher without mentioning his name, of someone who is beyond the pale. Like he is just so consumed with rage and revenge.
Yeah.
There's no going back. There's no hope for it. It was just cool to hear her speak about Billy as like, there's no hope for that guy.
Yeah.
I was like, aw, but where's Frenchie? He's sexy.
But yeah, I'm just really liking it. I'm also very interested of what's happening with Andre's powers, his dad's powers. Like his dad is like having strokes and his powers are like killing everybody around him.
Two Magnetos.
Like, what is that about? There's just a lot of interesting things happen. It's actually written very well. And the weird thing is the first episode, I feel like they were just so like, fuck, blood, explosion, fuck. And I feel like they kind of just let that go and just let it tell the story.
And grounded it. Yeah.
And it still gets gross and violent and gory and they're still cussing, but it just, they're like, oh, we actually have a real story to tell. We don't have to do flashy fucks and gross scenes.
That was just to get you hooked.
Yeah. So I like it. It's great. I'm like down with this show a lot.
Yeah, and I think the next episode's the last one in the season.
It's so short. So fucking short.
Yeah.
All right.
Then we have Loki. Episode 4, which, you know, in the Marvel shows, episode 4 is always the one people talk about.
Loki, it's I'd say last issue, I keep mixing up episode. Last episode, it really started to like get its groove on. And the same thing with this episode, but there's something, I don't know if is it just me? Maybe you're like, no, I fucking love it. There's something missing. I don't think it's bad, but there's something that's not as exciting to me. I'm not feeling the stakes when they're like, oh, everything's going to blow up. And I'm like, it's not going to blow up. And I'm like, oh, maybe it is going to blow up.
Yeah.
And I still I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. And what is that? Why am I like that, Brett? What do you think it is?
I don't know. We have no human connection to what's happening. Like, it's not grounded in any real relationship that we've seen. I mean, yeah, I guess like we empathize with Sylvie. You know, she had her life taken away. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I just like, that's always been my issue with this show is like I've kind of never really connected to like the real purpose and the what's driving the characters, I guess.
Yeah.
This one, we realized that like Ravonna Renslayer was who she was in the comic books initially, actually, like Kang's partner, Kang's queen. And then he betrayed her, wiped her memory, and basically like was the king at the end of time.
I think
himself.
he just had a protocol where he's like, oh, I think I need to be unknown, so I'm just wiping the entire TLA and covering up all of my statues. And really truly
the man behind the curtain. So in this episode, another thing that I have a problem with is like I fundamentally don't understand what the temporal loom is for. Like, yes, I know it takes raw temporal energy and like transforms it into physical time or the timeline. But I don't know what that means. Like, I don't.
But here's like, what I
don't know why I'm supposed to care about this thing.
Can I give my guess of what I think is going on?
Yeah.
My think is this is like what this is it's the Citadel. Like if you had to compare it, Saturnine and Merlin's Citadel. It's the nexus of where all of the multiverse things meet.
But here's my question.
Yeah.
If that temporal loom didn't exist.
Oh, well, no. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Happen? That's what I was just about to say. I think it's a way to connect it all. I think if it didn't exist and that thing blows up, in my opinion, the multiverses would still survive and live and go on. There just wouldn't be, the TLA would just be not there. So there wouldn't be a nexus to travel through. You might be stuck and not be able to travel back and forth through them.
Okay.
That's what I'm guessing, though. But I guess I'm assuming we're going to find out next episode.
And if that's it, I just want to point out, isn't that what He Who Remains wanted the whole time? Like the inability for the Kangs of each multiverse to travel to other ones?
Yes, and that's why he wanted. I think that's why he was like okay with dying.
Yeah,
but I think Renslayer did. But that's the weird thing is, but they're like, no, we don't want the TLA to end. And all the people in the TLA to blow up.
It's the TVA.
The TVA, the TLA, TVA. I don't know. It's whatever it is. But I think like Loki and Mobius, they want to keep the TVA. I think they just don't want all those people to die. I think they're more concerned with them. I'll tell you this, but Renslayer and Ms. Minutes, I have no idea what they're doing.
I don't know what they're doing.
They're like, hey, can you not have the TVA blow up? And they're like, let's kidnap you. We're going to stop you. And I'm like, so do you want it to blow up?
Right.
And then they're like, I don't get it.
They're taking over for Kang. They're like, we don't need him. We can do. Okay, but like, then what's your motivation?
What's your motivation?
His motivation
but wouldn't you want the
TVA? Stop a multiversal war.
Yeah, but also don't you want
what do you need it for?
Yeah, but don't you want the TVA to still be there so you can control it? Why would you want it to blow it up?
Do they want to be responsible for like everyone's fate? Like deciding like He Who Remains did, like he wrote the whole.
Yeah, and then it doesn't matter because fucking Ravonna is fucking pruned. What? I didn't see that coming. I mean, that was actually interesting. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then with Ms. Minutes being rebooted, does that mean she's completely wiped?
Right. Like how quickly? I mean, I don't want to like be annoyed because I'm speculating. Like that's not good TV watching. What I'm annoyed by is the stakes. I don't know how important the temporal loom is to like reality. Are we supposed to care about the TVA, or are we supposed to care about the multiverse?
Because I think you said it there is like, if that without that loom, there's no TVA. But if there's no TVA, why do we care?
What, like, wasn't the whole point of the loom was that it created the sacred timeline? Like,
yeah,
I guess I don't.
And they were all upset of like, oh, we don't want to prune these other multiverses. But if the TVA blew up, all those multiverses would still be there. That's not going to blow up the multiverses.
The loom is blowing up because there's too many branches going through it. Okay, why? Like,
then
what?
let that. Then stop. Then maybe get rid of the loom.
Right. Like, what do you? There's just like a fundamental like none of this makes sense. Driving so much of this show.
Yeah, I think the problem is I think these people writing the script are so invested in their own lore that they forgot to take a step out and be like, what does this actually make any sense?
Right.
Yeah. Because the motivations don't make sense right now.
But then the thing blows up at the end. So, which I actually thought was the coolest part of the show.
That me too, because I was like, I don't care. They're gonna save it, and then I'm like,
save it.
And I will tell you this: when fucking Victor Timely
got ripped apart,
walks out and just completely disintegrates into spaghetti, I was like,
that was wild.
Okay, didn't see that coming, and then it blew up. I'm like, all right, but then it ended, and I'm like, fuck. The moment it gets interesting.
So I guess everything I'm wondering is like, what do you need the temporal loom for? I guess we'll find out.
I guess we're gonna find out. Yeah, yeah.
But it's like it's just gonna kick everyone back. Like all those people that got crushed in that cube, which was horrific, by the way. Like I'm sure they'll all be alive. They died too horrifically to not
Or
be
are
alive.
they all going to be sent back to their variant timelines, and they all have to find each other? Maybe that'll be interesting.
Yes.
Also, I'm just glad Victor Timely's dead because Jonathan Majors was making a choice. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. I was like, cut it out.
Yeah, and then like sometimes he wouldn't do it. I'm like, oh, what happened to your stutter?
And then also, isn't he canceled? Like, what's the final?
Well, evidently, I don't know.
Evidently,
the
girl was paid. The girl was paid to change her story.
Evidently, yeah, exactly.
But there's still, even though that girl changed her story, there's still a million other people that he worked with that say he's like the most awful person.
Yeah.
I need to know who can tell us the truth, who I'll believe. Ki-hee Kwan. I need to call him and be like, how was he in that scene? How was he to work with, bitch?
He'll probably be like, he's a nice guy. Everyone's nice.
Yeah, he also has like a heart of gold, so you can't trust him either.
Yeah, exactly. That fucker. All right. Okay. We did it, girl.
We did it. We're disappointed, but you know what? We're hanging in there. We haven't given up on superhero
We're
stuff
waiting to
yet.
see what's on the other side. We love these characters. So,
and there has to be, for us to appreciate really great shows, there always needs to be a lull. Because if it was great all the time, we just wouldn't appreciate it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes. Totally. Listen, I'm just going to get to it. If you read comics, well, then that makes you queer. There's a rule. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.